Thanks, Brian. 4 people are dead and more than 50 are injured after a gas transmission line ruptured in the San Francisco suburb of San Bruno. But could PG&E, the company behind the blast, be partnering with environmental extremists? Could that have anything to do with it?
California Congressman Devin Nunes is the author of a brand new book called Restoring the Republic, which explores the alleged ties between big business and extremist groups. And he joins us live right now. Good morning to you, sir.
Thanks, Steve. Great to be on here.
Your book, Restoring the Republic, you say that the biggest threat facing the Republic right now is the convergence of big government, big business, and the environmental left, or the radical left. How?
Yeah, because, if you really look at it, it goes back to the bailouts. When Paulson and some Republicans pushed the bailouts, we had all of the Democrats supporting bailouts. And that's really where we went to a crossroads at that point, because that led on to the Obama administration coming in with stimulus bill, health care, take over car companies, et cetera, et cetera. And when I have a district in California that has faced huge regulations over the years, dramatic regulations, where I have some communities that are 20 up to 40% unemployment, I kind of said enough is enough, and I wanted to write this down so all of America can know about it. But not only that, but come up with actually some solutions to problems.
So does your reasoning factor at all into this explosion that we saw in San Bruno? I know it's not your district in California.
I think really the explosion is just probably an accident. But it is part of, if I can be all critical.
You talk about Pacific Gas in your book a lot.
I do. I mentioned them because they were one of the ones that supported the climate change partnerships that were going on, which is essentially a tax upon all Americans. And so if you look at what's happening out in California today, I mean, you could say that, is this a result of, not having enough energy, having a big bureaucratic group like PG&E? I'm not picking on them specifically, but throughout the country now, you have this convergence of big business, big government, and the radical left coming together, which has really, I think, led to the Tea Party movement and everything else.
Now, you talk earlier in your book about how one person you identify as a Washington insider who is kind of at the nexus of that convergence, and that person is Henry Paulson, the former Secretary of Treasury.
Yeah, so I was there. I was in the halls of Congress. I was lobbied heavily to vote for the bank bailout at the time, and I led one of the opposition movements to defeat it. And the rhetoric that was used at that time to pass a bill, quite frankly, that no one had read, including probably Paulson himself, that just transferred unprecedented duties from the Congress to the Treasury Department was a big, big mistake. And that's really, I think, where we're at today. We're at this crossroads in America, and people are very concerned. So what I do in this book is I don't just point fingers, place blame, try to explain how we got here, what the problems are, and then I actually outline real solutions.
But the interesting thing is you say you're not doing this to sell books. You actually wrote this longhand doing the long-haul flights between Washington and California.
Yeah.
It just sort of came to you. You want to sell ideas. That's what you say.
Yeah, and that's what this is really about. Is when I originally sat down to do this, it was I had written down a lot of these stories about when I was, things that happened in Washington I just thought were outrageous. And as I was writing ideas out for, okay, how do you solve the tax problems that we face in this country? How do you solve these environmental problems? How do you solve the energy questions that we face today? And when I sat down and wrote those out, what I ended up doing is just blending them together to try to explain these complex problems and let the American people know that there are solutions and that there are Republicans with solutions. Because as you know, on almost a daily basis, we get accused of the party you know.
Sure. Well, we want some stability. We want the Republic completely restored financially, and that's why a lot of people are angry right now, and that's why you wrote the book. Devin Nunes from California, we thank you, Congressman, for joining us.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to see both of you.
Thank you.
Great to see you.